Hi, everybody. It's 3 o'clock here in New York City, and I'm Gary Lucas. I'm here to play for you. And yes, well, we'll just get right on to it. That's a piece called Hurly Burly coming down, and we're right here in the Hurly Burly epicenter in New York City. But we're trying to stay positive and smile a lot, and I urge everyone out there to seek laughter wherever you can. That is the best medicine that I know. This is from an album that I put out with my band, Gods and Monsters, a couple of years ago on the Knitting Factory label. And it's an instrumental entitled Hot and Cold Everything. Well, anyway, the problem with a lot of these open tunings is atmosphere being what it is today, and it's very damp in New York. They kind of slip and slide on my old Gibson 1941 J45 Joey Zarda. I'm sorry, it was off by a year. This was sold to me at Matt Umanov Guitars as 1946. And a couple of years ago, when I went in there to get it looked over, he said, oh yeah, well, we checked the banner headstock, and I don't know if you can read this here, probably not, but it says, only a Gibson is good enough. And they stopped making the guitars that said that here up at the headstock in 41, so he backdated the guitar for me, although I would never ever sell these things. I think guitars are for playing, not for collecting, to tell you the truth. Well, let's give that one another shot. Right, hot and cold, everything. And, okay, well, that gives me a moment to reflect a bit on where we're at today. Well, where we're at today is I don't know when there are going to be any more gigs. And they're even talking about there not being any more gigs. For years and years now. Somebody said 2022. Maybe. I don't know if the situation is that dire. And I love to play for people. Everybody knows. I'm really enjoying having the chance and the privilege to play for you guys. But if there ain't any more gigs, then you're going to be seeing me for the duration 3 times a week, as always, as ever, here to play for you. I don't know, I have about 300 songs on the acoustic guitar in my repertoire, and many others on electric and steel guitar, which I'll get to. And I'm just scratching the surface, so that is to say, please tune in again on Saturday when I'll be here at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time to play some more tunes. And so right now I want to do something from a project of a couple years ago, a tribute to the great cartoon music from the Betty Boop and Popeye cartoons. These were very exquisite animations done by mainly 2 brothers, Max and Dave Fleischer, and they were set up in the Times Square area, although they hailed from Krakow, Poland originally, and as immigrants to this country, they got a pretty good reception in New York City, which is the proverbial melting pot, as you may know. And anyway, their cartoons, at least before the Legion of Decency got a hold of them, were the ne plus ultra of wacky and inventive animation. And anyway, I did an album called Fleischerei, which is German for butcher shop, a couple of years ago with some great musicians based here in New York, Joe Feidler, Rob Garcia, a whole bunch, a great crew. And the singer Sarah Stiles is a Tony Award winner. And people seem to really like it. And God knows I'd be out there touring it, but for etc. So I'm going to do a song that was made famous and actually was a hit for the major voice of Betty Boop. Betty Boop went through many incarnations. There's actually a black jazz singer in Harlem who claimed to have been the first one to use boop boop a doop in the song in the 20s. But Max hired the great Mae Questel, who you may also know for the voice of Olive Oil. And later on she did commercials for Charmin. Wait for yourself, honey. She's in Woody Allen's and New York stores. Anyway, she had a hit with a song called The Broken Record, which is about someone who can't stop saying I love you to like a broken record. And that's how I feel anyway, so let's see. A broken record. All right, let's hear it for Mae Questel and the Fleischer brothers, Max Fleischer and Dave Fleischer. And one of my signal honors was Max's granddaughter, Ginny Mahoney, came to a show I did at the American Film Institute in Silver Spring, Maryland, a couple of years ago, where I had that ensemble and many of the cartoons. And Ginny introduced herself to me and said, Max would have been proud of you. And it's that kind of response that really makes the whole thing worthwhile sometimes. Anyway, let's switch over to the steel guitar here. Okay, this is a National Steel knockoff from China. And anyway. They were very nice, the people in this company, when they heard me play Chinese music on this guitar. So I was able to acquire one, and thanks a lot again. And I'm still loving playing this thing. But I'm going to play the very first tune that came out under my name. I think it was in 1989 on an album called Live at the Knitting Factory here in New York City. That came out on A&M Records of all labels, just like Beefheart. His first single. No, anyway, this is Albert Ayler's Ghost. My arrangement. Albert Ayler's Ghost. Okay. Now here's about the time I'll put in a short commercial break. Folks, if you're enjoying these broadcasts, kindly direct yourself to PayPal, Gary at GaryLucas.com. I really, really appreciate all of the support that has come in over now at least a month. I've been doing this to me and Caroline here. And I want to read out the roster of honor insofar as I was so grateful for your support. Colin John Campbell, that just came in before the broadcast. Diana Yeager. Victor Lopez. Joey Zarda, the aforementioned Joey Zarda, who's an acoustic guitar freak. Nathan McCormick. Jürgen Wettig, it comes in from all over the world. Greg Sinodis, Adam Levin, and Chris Burble, who's a multiple contributor. Blessings on y'all. And just to say, this is eventually going to emerge on September 11th, unless it's put back again. I have a sample copy. It's called The Essential Gary Lucas. It's a double CD introduction to my work that covers about 30 albums worth of material I put out. Since 1990, I was a late starter there, but I'm so glad I did. Honestly, it was a lot more fulfilling than writing stupid ads for CBS Records. Sorry. No offense, a lot of nice people there. Okay, it's sounding like Trump. The Nero, featuring Gary Lucas, the complete Jeff Buckley and Gary Lucas songbook. This is an album I did in Italy, in Rome, about a year ago for the Ezor Disco label. And it's all 12 songs that I wrote and recorded, just demos with Jeff. Only 2 studio demos, and the rest came from live tapes. Some of it came out on an earlier album, Songs to No One. But this has 5 songs that had never before come out in any official format, with very high-quality studio productions. So check that one out. And it was actually voted Album of the Year for 2019. Here's a record I did with the fabulous Nona Hendryx, for all the Beefheart freaks out there. The World of Captain Beefheart. I brought Nona to be the main vocalist at the Paradiso in Italy for a concert mounted by my friend Coda Clute a few years ago. Can you imagine? Symphonic Beefheart. And then I decided to record a small group version, as I found taking an orchestra around a very unfeasible prospect. So recorded this with 5 crack players here in New York. And check it out. This is out on the Knitting Factory label. And I'm going to play one of these Buckley Lucas songs, at least the instrumental part. And how I worked with Jeff over many months, for about a year in total, over 12 songs, was I'd give him finished guitar instrumentals to which he put his own lyrics and melody to, and he did a genius job. So let's see what we can get out of this thing. All right. This is an old 1966 Stratocaster. I love Stratocasters. I got one in 65 for my bar mitzvah, but I couldn't get a good tone out of it, so what a fool. I got rid of it. I wished I'd had that, but this is 66, almost as good. And here we go. Let's see. Okay, now we got another minute or so. Let's go back to the J45. Maybe if we're lucky, Lulu will make an appearance and do a pop-in here. She was right on time on the last broadcast, exactly at 3:30. She barked to say, "Come on now, play with me." So you know how these women are. Now, let's see. Yeah. This is a shout out to my friend Lena Friedrich, who's a great young French female filmmaker. And Lena made a fantastic short film called The Hermit. I think you could see it on YouTube. About a guy who was living, talk about social distancing. He was living unbeknownst to people upstate in a camping site area. And he didn't make contact with people for years and years and years, except to make occasional forays and raids on food supplies. And no one really saw him until he finally emerged. And Lena's also a really good actress, and she has a role in Quentin Tarantino's Inglourious Basterds, so look out for her work. She's really super talented. And I gave some music to this film, and well, it's a long history. This was originally called Body Parts, and I did this with a great English girl who was living in Holland, named Wonder Smith, who's sadly no longer with us. And but like I said, good music is good music. So this is also the theme music to Lena's film, and here we go. Okay, well, that's it for now. Yeah, 3:30. It was a pleasure and an honor to play for you once again. And I look forward to seeing you all on Saturday. Take care of yourselves. Be safe. Big hugs.